Welcome to Lockett in the Czech Republic, round 14 of the FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship with me, Paul Malin. You join us live and exclusively on MX Live TV, but everywhere else around the world as well. But Germany, the border, just about 60k away from here. It's hot, it's 25 degrees, it's not that humid, but the riders have a very difficult racetrack this weekend. It's hard and slick and technical as MX1 prepare to go and do battle here in Moto number 1. In terms of where we are, we're about 160 kilometers away from the country's capital, Prague, but we're closer to Germany. In actual fact, about 60k away from the border. And in MX1, Tony Cairoli has 108 points advantage over the Belgian Clément de Salle, who inherited that second place, of course, the week ago after Gauthier Paulin crashed out of the lead in Moto number 1 and failed to start the second race, dropping to 4th in the process. But while Cairoli might have made history here last year by claiming his 50th career Grand Prix victory, the Sicilian will have to wait a little while longer if he is to be crowned world champion for the 7th time. But he had a steady qualifying race yesterday, coming home in what was a pretty static qualifying race in 6th place. But it was a Belgian championship affair because it was De Dijker, De Salle, Van Hoorbeek and Strybos who rounded out the first 4 positions, just edging out Evgeny Bobashev in the process. Brand new start location this weekend. You see it there at the top of the screen, last year's location, but it's just behind the pit lane area now, dropping downhill into this right-hander, as you can see. And it's a little bit off-cambered as well, so don't be surprised if there's a little bit of fun and games going on as the riders approach turn 1 in MX1 race 1.
Startovní číslo 277. No a včera v kvalifikaci měl smůlu Španěl Jonathan Barragan na stroji KTM se startovním číslem 7.
Crowds gathering in. Let's go down on the pit lane.
We're back down on the start line for MX1 race 1. Again, we can take some shade in the new waiting zone, which is rather nice. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, you had a consistent qualifying race yesterday. What happened last week? Was it more of a heat thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Last week I had a big crash on Saturday and didn't felt comfortable at all, and the heat was also a big problem. I had some pain on my head and my neck, so it was a really difficult weekend, but I guess I'm back in business this weekend. So yesterday was really good, and I hope I can do the same today, and feeling good.
And we've got a new start here. What do you make of the layout?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, you know. It's fun that tracks are changing, and yeah, it's nice, you know. It's a good start, and hope to be in front.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Antonio Cairoli s mnoho titulama mistrů světa svědčí o tom, že tato kubatura je skutečně nabitá. A nyní bych poprosil ještě chviličku muziky předtím, než se za 5 a 3/4 minuty rozdělí motory první rozjížďky třídy MX1.
For the second week in a row, we've got temperatures entering into the mid-30s, but 2 of our riders are going to brave those now on our onboard lap. That's Sean Simpson and Heron Baraka. But first, we're going to have a chat to their team manager about the changes the team have had this year.
questa stagione nel nostro team
the season in our
abbiamo
team, we've got 4
4
riders.
piloti.
First rider is
primo
Heron Bracker.
pilota è Arian
He's a
Brack,
Dutch rider.
olandese, che parteciperà
And he's
al
riding in the
campionato del
MX1
mondo
World
MX1.
Championship.
Il secondo
The
pilota
second MX1 rider was
doveva
originally
essere
meant to be Sebastian Porcel,
Poi
but we had
abbiamo
to
interrotto la
interrupt our
collaborazione
collaboration, and
e
so
non c'è
our
più stato.
second rider is
Quindi
now
il secondo
Sean
pilota
Simpson.
sarà
And he came into the team in the
che è
middle of the
arrivato da un
year,
altro team
so he'll
a metà
be
stagione
finishing the season
e
with us in
finirà tutta
MX1.
la stagione 2013 con noi nella classe MX1.
And as you can see, these guys getting ready to head down to show us a lap of this Lockett circuit. And this week we will pick it up as they drop downhill towards the finish line to give you an exact lap. So they've gone through the finish, through the first turn, or the final turn then, and then down over the Casino Bomba, step down, about 30 meters there, point to point. And then dropping into the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. Gets pretty choppy, gets gnarly through there, and likewise on the way up as well. Back end swapping from side to side as they crest the straight right in front of pit lane. As we look on board with Heron Bracker, going after his teammate Sean Simpson. And this is a new start straight, dropping down into that right-hander. A little bit off cambered through there, and then as we exit turn 1, through the little double, into the left, bank to the outside, or you can carve down the inside. Do that, you might not make the seat bounce over this next step down, but if you can do that, it might take your mate out of the game as well. Then we head turn 3, out of there, stepping down, over the Monster Energy tabletop jump into the bottom end of the circuit, the lowest point on the racetrack. And then they head on the gas, second gear, third gear, over the step-up jump, into this 180 right, dropping downhill, into a short left. Again, a few corners there, but it's cambered on the way out, so it's very easy to light at the back end if you get on the gas too early, or maybe even try to turn too tight. Then it's about 80 meters to the top of the hill before hitting the second of the Monster Energy tabletops, then dropping down into the main sort of area for the viewers, into that tight left, little step down through the right-hander, using the bank if you need to the outside, or working your way up into this right-hander. Then you drop down, swing through the left. And you remember last year the start straight used to be on our left as we reached this plateau here. And so this used to be the original first turn, but as you've seen, that's already changed. Still slick through there though. This year, a new wave section. Very difficult to double-double all the way through. So it's an interesting combination. Through the old turn 2. Easy on the gas, heading uphill onto the plateau, gets choppy through there as well, and big braking bumps into this penultimate corner, the right-hander before dropping down over the tabletop and swinging through the final turn, fourth gear on any motorcycle before reaching the Monster Energy finish line jump, and that's a lap of Lockett. So Ken de Dijker then will start from pole, Commander South second, Jeremy Van Horbeek third, and Kevin Strybos fourth in what amounts to nothing short of the Belgian Championship race yesterday in the qualifying. Gary Bobashev was fifth ahead of Tony Cairoli, who was just more than comfortable to sit there and do nothing. Tommy Searle started 10th, got himself back into 7th, and then it was Philip Hartz in 8th, Sean Simpson was 9th, Tano Leon was 10th, and that's how they'll line up on the grid. Adam Wheeler from OnTrackOffroad.com joins me, Paul Malin, start of MX1 Race 1. Adam Wheeler, it's an interesting start the riders all have to face this weekend. It's all been revamped and repositioned, a slightly downhill, off-cambered first turn.
Yeah, very difficult, very slick as well, Paul. And I think this race is going to get pretty interesting, because what you can't see from a little broom cupboard in here is that the sky over the back of the circuit is completely black. So that thunderstorm that was predicted for the weather forecast seems to be drifting over. Whether it's going to erupt during this moto, we'll find out.
Well, we were anticipating that, you know, before the 125 and 250 European Championship races. There wasn't even a hint of it. But is it coming in from Germany, that kind of area, over the border that way?
Yeah, you'll see it probably when we switch around to the far side of the circuit. You'll see, like, you know, where it's just coming. It's a complete, like, 2 different days. You've got blue sky on one side and it's dark on the other.
We'll see it there, look, just ahead of the old second turn. Well, the Monster Energy 15 second board is up. The umbrellas have been used for the shade. That might be for a rain shower in a moment or two, but for now, it's Okay weather.
Watch the Suzukis here, a whole shot.
They were good yesterday, the two Suzukis there, second and fourth on the gate on the left-hand side. They've got the Kawasaki Van Horbeek who gets a bad jump, but slip between them. But the two Suzukis, and there'll be a reason for that in a moment. I'll come back to Adam Wheeler to find out why. But Cairoli gets squeezed going into turn 2. He's going to hold a nice tight inside line. Take no prisoners through there, or will he? Well, he lets Strybos off the hook. A two-time winner here, of course, in 2005, 2007. DeSalle second, Van Horbeek. Good recovery for him in third place, despite a poor jump. Cairoli on the outside of him in fourth. A short landing for Bobashev in fifth. De Dijker on the outside in sixth. Tommy Searle in seventh place. But it's getting a little bit close down there in that bottom corner. Turn 4 at the bottom end of the hill.
And Roland's just being pushed wide there, but you have got well, DeSalle's leading now. He won here in 2009, 2011, not been off the podium for 4 years, so, you know, he's got to be pretty much the favourite for overall today if he just, you know, it was a great start. He's done the first part of it.
Belgians first, second and third like they were. The only guy missing from that is Ken de Dijker, but he's quickly making his way towards the front, just squeezing Evgeny Bobashev there, and he's got Tony Cairoli in his sights, who can't win a World Championship this weekend, barring anything really, really drastic happening, but... You know, we're looking at maybe Cairoli in Belgium, potentially at the earliest, to win that title. But we're on board here with Tommy Searle. Hasn't made one of his lightning starts. He's got Sean Simpson ahead of him, and it's very tight through there. Remember, last year when he was on board, he railroaded right at the inside of Tommy Searle in that second moto in MX2, and sending Hurlings right the way down to the canvas. But Bobashev losing traction.
You're just saying it, Paul. I mean, Simpson made a pretty tough move on Bobashev on that you know, right off camber there earlier on. So Sean's really attacking hard in these first laps.
Right, you mentioned the starts. Watch the starts coming out of the, you know, off the gate in the first race, first and second in the moto.
Cairoli making a mistake.
Yes, he stalled it. And he's trying to get it started.
Electric start, but that is nothing short of a little bit of a disaster here. You know, first lap, you really cannot afford to make a mistake. I mean, even when you get into a race rhythm, a mistake can cost 3 or 4 seconds, and it's just so hard to win it back.
Cairoli's won his fair share of races and GPs here as well, but didn't look comfortable yesterday, did he? Or was he just saving a little bit in reserve?
I don't think this is his favourite track, Paul. I mean, I don't think you'll see, you know, a vintage Cairoli here. I mean, it's not going to be a 1-1. It's not going to be a performance a little bit like we saw in Germany last week.
Got hung up on the bank there, look, and then just wrong gear and tried to get himself pushed forward a bit more, but Simpson, Bobashev, Tommy Searle all going past the Sicilians. So DeSalle, Strybos, Van Horbeek, De Dijker, Simpson, Bobashev, Searle, and possibly Cairoli ahead of Philipparts. Oh no, Philipparts went through. So too did Tenno Leoc, and we know Leoc has got good form around here. Number 40 on the Ritchie Racing. And he messes up. Simpson. He's dragged right in the rear wheel. Can't get out.
He's okay. I mean.
So drama then on the second lap. As Tommy Searle and Sean Simpson get into each other at the top end of the circuit, or in that particular corner.
And Sean just looked at Tommy there as if to say, my leg's caught in your bike, would you mind stopping, please?
Took him high and wide, and then suddenly was just dragged.
Watch him look down at Sean here, and it's like, let me out, dude.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, Sean's lucky to kind of escape that, really. You know, he wasn't sort of twisting his knee ligaments up. It's.
Wonder if we have the other angle of that as well, from, you know, from looking at the camera, you know, the track actually full on in its normal position. But DeSalle trying to check out here. He's got a couple of seconds clear at the moment of his teammate, Kevin Strybos. Why watch for these guys? We'll get back to it now, a lap later. Why watch for these guys coming out of the start? They made some changes. There have been some upgrades on those bikes this weekend?
No insider knowledge really, Paul. I mean, it was just like, you know, hedging bets really from yesterday. You know, Strybos also said, well, he did say yesterday that they dialed in the starts over the last 2 or 3 GPs, so he's a lot more confident now off the gate. He's using a slightly harder rear shock. I mean, it's just the same setting as using before the Grand Prix of Finland. So, you know, it's just DeSalle's been top 3, top 4 around the first corners most of the GPs, and I think he just seems to gel with this place. I mean, some other riders, speaking with Dean Ferris just before here, just hates it. You know, so it's sketchy, it's just hard to get a handle on it. But you know, DeSalle's got some sort of kind of hoodoo here.
And that's no strange thing for him, because I think he's a better hard rider than a sand rider. He might readily admit that. But for Strybos, you know, to win here in the past, obviously he doesn't mind riding the hard slick conditions, but probably favours the sand himself. You know, so he's obviously got a good feeling with this particular kind of hard track.
I mean, this is nothing like sand, is it, Paul? But I mean, there is a little bit of a kind of, some corners it does move around a little bit. I mean, traction is pretty much the key word over the weekend here at this Grand Prix. It's a real different kind of motocross, you know. It's something where the riders have to settle into a rhythm, just have to keep pushing and just minimise the mistakes. You know, somewhere nice and rough and choppy like we had in Finland recently, you could probably get away with a poor lap or whatever and win back the time you've lost. But here, as we might see with Cairoli, he's in a real chance of losing his 100% podium record this season. You know, it's going to be real hard to first make up the ground and then make the overtaking move.
Yeah. We're just looking at the pre-qualifying times from yesterday. Clement de Sal, Kevin Strijbos, Van Horbeke and De Dijker were the first four. The qualifying race was De Dijker, De Sal, Van Horbeke and Strijbos, and the race positions at the moment are De Sal, Strijbos, Van Horbeke, De Dijker. Four Belgians in the first four positions, and probably 6 months ago we were talking about the future of the sport in Belgium in terms of circuit closures and that kind of thing, and where's the next talent coming from? Well, at the moment all the talent from MX1 or from Belgium is in MX1, isn't it? It's from MX2 and the Europeans where we've got to go looking.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make a study of these four riders we've got in front of us, De Sal's pretty much the man at the moment, isn't he? I mean, he's always the shoe-in for the Motocross of Nations team. I mean, Jeremy Van Horbeek's a little bit the up-and-comer, the rookie in MX1 this season, and Ken De Dijker and Kevin Strijbos are the riders that have, you know, they've got not like a second chance, but they've had like a bit of a renaissance. Searle again.
Bracker just jumping into him. Very, very lucky Tommy Searle there not to get collected again. Has he run off the track though? No, manages to keep it in line, but De Sal, Strijbos, Van Horbeke, De Dijker, they first four. Bobachev, Philipparts, Cairoli, Roulox, they top eight. And Leot, Podizek, Caro, Searle in 12th place as De Dijker makes a move and goes past Jeremy Van Horbeke and slots into third place. So the lead Red Bull KTM rider is now number 9, Ken De Dijker. He's got a couple seconds to make up to Strijbos, and he's only about 5 seconds down on De Sal. Can you see Ken De Dijker picking up a moto win here in his first race, Adam Wheeler?
7 seconds down on De Sal. I'd say no chance. But then we did do the commentary in the last Grand Prix, and I said that he would fade and Tommy Searle would pass him, and got it completely wrong. So,
and he's also set the fastest lap last time around, a 48.5, which was considerably quicker than anybody else. And that's Clement de Sal, of course. 28 minutes plus 2 to go. Tony Cairoli struggling for traction at the moment on his Red Bull KTM as he tries to go after David Philipparts in 6th place. Got Evgeny Bobachev just ahead of them on the Honda World Motocross machine in 5th, and he is about 3 seconds ahead of the two Italians. But Tony Cairoli, that mistake on the opening lap where he stalled the machine, Adam Wheeler, was at the moment proving to be costly, because he is, Tony Cairoli, 17.5 seconds down on Clement de Sal, our race leader. And it's not the easiest place to overtake on. There's not a lot of grip out there on the circuit, and where there is grip, everyone's going for it anyway, so you do have to be a little bit brave to get off line, like he is now, trying something else. Will he cut back to the inside here and straight line David Philipparts? Well, the answer there is a big fat no.
Well, never mind De Sal. I think just trying to get back up near the top 3 is going to be a major ask. That's like 10 seconds away. I mean, like you say, he's going to have to be pretty adventurous with some, I say lines, but there's not really kind of there's not much choice here. I mean, this is like a 40-year-old race circuit. You know, this year there's been some major kind of alterations, but other than that, it's just, you know, follow my leader.
Yeah.
And who's that behind Cairo? Is that Rollins there on the Yamaha? Yeah.
Not a bad recovery for him, because he was messed around on the first lap, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was.
But he's there in 8th place at the moment. He's found a way past Tano Leot. Milko Podizek, he surprised me last week. 2 consistent rides, obviously put himself in a good position, got an invite back to ride the monster on his Yamaha this weekend in the absence of Stephen Frossard. Talking of which, will we see him back in Belgium in a couple of weeks' time?
Probably likely to be the British Grand Prix, right? The MXGP Festival towards the end of August, I imagine. I don't think he's riding yet. He still needs to recover from that operation, so it's a case of having to wait and see. I see Philipparts not really kind of giving any leeway to his countrymen here. I mean, the Motocross of Nations team for Italy should be Cairoli, and Lupino had a good ride in the first MX2 moto. Yeah. So the last slots between David Philipparts, who we're kind of looking at here on that Honda, and Davide Guarnieri. But with Guarnieri suffering with that injury to his leg, is it ankle or his knee?
Yeah, he's had a couple this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, so, you know, maybe Philipparts had his best result of the season last week in Germany. So, yeah, and David also a former GP winner here, Paul.
Yeah, 2008 championship winning year.
That's right, it was a big win at the time.
De Dijker has closed down Kevin Strijbos. Battle for second position, nothing in it between the two Belgians. Easily ran the outside. Well, that would not normally happen, but Strijbos looking to fight back. Down into turn 4, the bottom of the hill. Strijbos will run wide. Whoa. I thought Ken was going to square up. The intention was there.
Just trying to stop, wasn't he?
Nicely done. Through the inside rut. And again, should never have found a way through there, but Ken De Dijker getting the power down on that Red Bull KTM, and he was 6 seconds down on Clément de Sale last time around. De Sale already disappearing around up into that top corner. So we said he probably wouldn't close down De Sale, but he was fastest man on track at 48.3. We're going down to pit lane.
Joel, you're heading up Team Belgium again this year. Obviously, yesterday qualifying race we had top 4 Belgians, and again today, a lot to pick from there.
Well, there is 4 riders for 3 places, obviously. So yeah, it's pretty clear that I'm gonna pick 3 riders from these 4 riders. The final decision is gonna be taken this week, and it's gonna be announced next week at the Belgian Championship.
Exciting stuff, and 2 impressive starts from your Suzuki boys.
Yeah, that's right. They're building up confidence already for some weeks now. Maybe it was a little bit more difficult in the middle of the season, but the last couple of races have been going good. We had 2 riders on the podium in Finland as well. Last week Germany wasn't too bad at all. And I think they build up confidence from there. And you can see that if the confidence is good, you can see that most of the time in the starts.
Thanks, Joel.
Tony Cairoli looks to have found a way past David Philipparts. But yeah, Joel Smets, team manager then for Team Belgium. What do you think the team would be? Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com.
I think he's got to ask Van Horbik to get on the 250, and I think you're looking at probably De Dijker and De Sale. I think Kevin might just lose out, even though he is a Suzuki rider, and Joel's obviously inside that framework. And interestingly, you asked me for the secret of the start spot. I think he just revealed it there, the confidence factor.
Yeah.
But De Sale, you know, he's leading this race. We haven't seen too much of him. For me, he did one of his best moto performances of the year last week in Germany. So he's kind of building on that. He's reaching a rich reign of form. You kind of, you know, wish and wonder that he'd do it a bit earlier in the season to give Tony Cairoli more of a chase in the championships. I think he's over 109 points or something like that ahead.
Yeah, 108, and you hear it constantly, and we hear it all over the place. If I can just get out of the start, I need to make better starts. That's the rule number 1, isn't it? It's interesting to hear the riders still talk about, I can't afford to give this guy 3 or 4 positions, or, you know, half a lap or whatever. That is the golden rule. But start of the season, different thing altogether. You know, Gauthier Paulin and Clément de Sale were both right there at the first 2 rounds, but after that it kind of just fell off a little bit, didn't it? You know, for those guys, and Cairoli was the one that remained consistent. So, you know, not out of the top 3 for the first time. He's only been 4th twice. Everything else for Cairoli, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. And there is the secret in terms of Tony Cairoli.
Yeah, that's not just championship form, that's exceptional form.
Yeah.
You know, I did an interview with him on Friday and said, you know, yeah, how is it possible we keep riding, you get better and better every year? I was just having a look there at Jenny Bobrichet, boy. I mean, he's on the path to redemption, isn't he? After, you know, a pretty difficult Grand Prix last week in Germany, where the heat just got to both him and Max Nagel. Of course, not here racing because of the Epstein-Barr virus, so I wonder when we're going to see him back. There's Tommy Searle, we're just watching him in 11th place. That incident with Sean Simpson just proving costly.
Yeah, just on the back wheel of Milko Podolski. But yeah, we're quite depleted in terms of top-end talent, aren't we, this weekend? No Max Nagel, no Ice One Racing team. Rui Gonçalves and Xavier Borg out for 6 weeks, Rui out for another couple of weeks. And of course, there's no Frossard anyway, but we've missed him for the most part of the year.
Yeah, Paulin.
You know, Paulin, obviously. So, you know, Paulin, I'm guessing we'll see him back in a couple of weeks' time, but then, you know, the championship's pretty much over for him, isn't it? The only thing worth coming back for now for him is going to be the Nations.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of a footnote to that, because with Clément de Sale winning this moto, that's even more points for him to consolidate 2nd position in the MX1 World Championship. So, you know, it's...
Well, he was 14 down on Clément De Dijker coming into this weekend, and obviously not starting. De Dijker there in 2nd is going to be another 22 points.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first 3 positions are gone for Gauthier Paulin.
Yeah, I mean, we're also on round 14, and De Sale's racked up, I think, 9-10 podiums this year. So, you know, he's always had that forced smile because he's been 2nd place, 3rd place, and now finally with a victory, as well as getting all those points for the championship, it's going to be a bumper weekend if he stays up.
Tommy Searle looking to find a way past Milko Podolski, top of the hill. Might try to square him off at the bottom here. Depends on the line,
no.
But forced to go to the outside, chase the dirt a little bit, so just losing a bike length or 2. So 20 minutes plus 2 to go. De Salle just over the line now, having completed 7 laps. Ken de Dijker, what's that gap? Is it coming down or is it going out? Because it was around about 6 seconds before. A couple of laps ago, it's now 8.5 seconds. So de Salle, pretty good lap as well. 48.6 compared to the 50.1 of de Dijker. Strybos 2 seconds further back. And yeah, fastest lap for de Dijker. First lap 4, 48.3. But he's now in second position. He knows he can just stay there. And can he really challenge de Salle for second overall in the championship? Yeah, he can. It's only 24 points behind him. So needs to go after. Come on, de Salle if he can, but he knows he can do it in the second motor as well. Maybe save a little bit of energy.
Yeah, we were talking about Paul Lambert. Really, de Dijker, the one that's like pushing up, and that's why I think he's going to get that Motocross of the Nations. And just watching John Rowland's here, TM tunnel layup. I've seen too much of him since he's changed back onto the. That's right. Yeah, no, second place I think he finished. It was the highest result ever for TM, I think, in MX1.
A little bit loose there, though, isn't it? Yeah, 2010, the first and the fifth that day.
He won it.
Oh, okay. And Tony Cairoli was second and first, so it was a nice battle between him and Cairoli in the closing stages of that particular race, but not showing that same kind of form. Tanal Liot, who's here ninth in the moment.
But then, if he won the moto in 2010, I don't think he was running the TM at that time. Might have been on Honda. Yeah. So I do know that he finished, well here with that TM machine. I think it's still their best GP finish. And just saw Tommy Searle again. I think Mandis Caro having another good ride in 12th place. It was just behind him. We saw before we flicked through to the onboard helmet camera.
We've got Matthias Faulkner as well in 13th place. He's the defending MX3 world champion, of course, on the Hinninger KTM, but dropped to third after the last round, behind Clement Gertrude and Martin Micek, who's here this weekend watching. Clement Gertrude, of course, riding in MX1 today for 24MX. And Steve Latani, he's down in 18th, but not that many riders in the race anyway, are there? 21, 22 riders, something like that. Well, 20 riders in the race. So just finished and you pick up a point, except Mikola Paczynski. But he'll still get a point for that anyway, he'll be classified. The rain is starting to come down here at Lockett. We had a wet circuit due to the watering at the start of the moto, but it's just about to get even wetter. Journalists and media and other kind of fans are going to be running for cover now, because it looks like from the start of the race, the black clouds that were coming in over the circuit might be carrying a lot of rain, because it's been very, very hot. Normally when you get those kind of temperatures, there's going to be big storms and lots of rain. Hopefully we don't get a lot of it, but Tony Cairoli, will that work in his favour or not? He's found himself right back on the rear wheel of Evgeny Bobryshev, but he's still 9 seconds down on Strybos, who's in third, but 17 minutes to go. I know we might not see vintage Cairoli, but when the track changes, if it gets wet and slippery and the conditions change so drastically, who knows, anything can happen, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, that's right, boy. But the riders are always talking about the low technical demands of this track. It's if it gets bumpy, it's still not particularly tough to conquer. So if it gets wet, then it's getting a little bit more slippery. You can see Cairoli just trying to find a place past Bobryshev.
He was thinking about squaring off then, but had to go wide and then cut back, but wasn't so clean through there earlier, but found a way past Bobryshev nice and easy that time around. So now up in the 5th place, Tony Cairoli. Tony Cairoli then just finds a way past Evgeny Bobryshev to take 5th position, but then we've got de Salle, de Dijker, Strybos and Van Horbik. Still the top 4 Belgians currently leading the way here.
We're down in the pit lane. We saw a few dark clouds at the start of this race, just looming over. The rain started to fall, so who knows, maybe this race is going to end in a thunderstorm.
That's the Amy doing a new role as a weather girl, isn't it? So she's going to start pointing at some map or something.
That's it. Amy Dargan's a weather girl. Yeah. There's a song title there somewhere. She's going to get wet as well because her umbrella's in here, bless her. But the rain coming down. De Dijker pulling up the roll-offs. He's got Strybos all over the back of him. Van Horbik closing in as well, so nothing in it. And Tony Cairoli could suddenly be the danger man here, because nothing between Tony Cairoli. We say 9 seconds, but that didn't look like 9 seconds when he was charging down a straight. Looking at going after De Dijker, Strybos and Van Horbik just ahead of him. Yeah, tear-offs for de Salle. Wonder how long they'll last. Laminates.
Yeah, also if he comes into a few back markers as well, might just hold him up. But I mean, he's got a race-winning margin there. He just has to keep it kind of on the island, not do anything stupid. But you know, commentators' early mistake of writing off Tony Cairoli. I mean, he's really come back. The lap times 48s, everyone else doing 49s, 50s. You know, he's kind of settled into his groove, and as we know, that's good enough to win motos.
Second, third, fourth, just wait for the helmet to pop up there in the bottom corner. So all second, third, fourth, fifth riders all on the same part of the racetrack, and that isn't 8 or 9 seconds anymore.
That's what tends to happen here in the MX1 class, not so much in MX2, but you do get, like, you know, riders dispersed and then suddenly coming together in a group. I can remember like the climax of races we've had here in the past of you kind of sit there waiting for 25 minutes of not much happening, and then suddenly you get this flurry of action. And
I wonder how much of it as well is Kenda Dyker seeing the rain, and it's almost like road racing. They talk about mental rain. A couple of spots on the visor, they're unsure about the tyres and the grip and where it is. And maybe Kenda Dyker is heading up this battle for second place at the moment, ahead of the 22 of Strybos and the 89 of Van Horby. Maybe he just went, oh, hang on a minute, it's raining, I need to take it easy. These guys have concertinaed back together, and maybe he's just still riding on that pace that's just a little bit off, you know, of what it was. So that gap 7 seconds between him and Cairoli, coming out of turn 1 there in the background. So if he's not careful, these guys are going to be queuing up behind him and bringing Tony Cairoli along with him.
I mean, De Dijk is such an attacking rider. If there's not really anything in front of him to attack, then that's probably where, you know, he might lose some focus and just lose half a second every other lap, and it's, you know, before you know it.
Nice move.
Yeah. Just past Podisek there, isn't it? Is he going to come back around the outside though?
Going to take him wide. Tommy Searle we're on board with, and squeezes Podisek up into turn 2 and finds a way past to go 10th. Podisek taking a look over his shoulder. He's got a long gap between him and Mattis Caro, the STR KTM rider, about 6 seconds, something like that, as Roulont's down the inside of Leon. Well, those two were actually 8th and 9th, so those two just still backwards and forwards, I think.
Not too sure about Tommy Searle's pink gear. What do you think, Paul? A little bit sticks out a little bit, doesn't it?
Glad you said that.
Did you ever wear pink gear when you were racing GPs?
Actually, you know what, I was about to say no, but I think there was an Italian company called Embraer. We had to wear sort of a combination of sort of white and pink and blue and all sorts. It was hideous, actually. But yeah, had no choice in the matter. It was a new line of clothing back then.
That 90s phase as well. There was some disasters.
Could have been worse. Could have been Kurt Nichol, who also wore it, but he had that blonde wig hanging out the back with curly mop.
The Def Leppard rocker.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Joe Elliott. Anyway, pit boards are going out to Tano Leop. Come on the south, 13.5 seconds clear. He's gained a couple more seconds actually as De Dyker backs off. So what you said was a winning margin a couple of laps ago, or a lap and a half ago. He's extended that from what it was, 11 seconds. So all looking good for Commander Sal. So far so good. Race wins for him, the opening moto in Qatar. And then another one in Italy, Maggiora, and then a DNF, and then a win in a second a week ago in Germany. So this will be good for Sal, good for the confidence. Coming at the right time as well for him and his teammate, Kevin Strybos, as they go to Bastogne, and Tony Cairoli lurking dangerously in the background.
Yeah, Cairoli just a second quicker than these 3 riders ahead of him on that last lap, so you can see it visually. He's just gaining ground all the time. 12 minutes to go. I mean, he's catching up to these 3, but then passing them.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. Although he has found a way past Bobryshev, hasn't he, and Philipparts earlier on in the race. Didn't seem to take too much effort. These guys, though, might be a different animal altogether.
Yeah, good call about Bastogne there, Paul. I mean, 4 Belgians in the top order of this Grand Prix. I mean, anybody watching thinking, well, you know, shall I go to Bastogne next time? Hopefully with better weather than there was last year.
I thought it was a good track, actually.
Oh, it was okay. But I mean, you know, the paddock and the facility was a little bit destroyed by those heavy showers, even though it was sunny on race day.
Yeah. But I thought it was a proper rider's track. You know, it got chewed up. It was bumpy. It was physical. It was a mental challenge as well for the riders. You know, it wasn't just a track in a flat field.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting as well, the way it weaved into the trees and stuff. I mean, also the guys put it on, you know, at a moment's notice. I think they only had it was a matter of weeks, you know, to get it all ready. So with a year or more than a year, it's you know, you hope you'll go there and it'll be something quite firmly established, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll change any aspects of it at all, or if they'll just keep the main body.
Yeah.
Cairoli dancing around as he comes out of the turn after the finish line area. It was his lap time last time around, 49.5. Slower than the guys around him, was he? No, he was quicker than Van Horbeek and Strybos, and about 3/10 quicker than teammate Kenda Dyker, but he can see them. He's got a visual, definitely.
This is we'll be watching from is
Would be Bobryshev.
yeah, to see that red mud guard, a bit of a giveaway.
Oh, Philipparts.
There you go. Well, it's one of the two, wasn't it? Philipparts, another decent ride from him, 7th place. You know, 2 years of broken wrists, so he's still just trying to make his way back up to that top 5. And there's Bobryshev, who we were speaking about a minute ago, just behind Kurt. You can really see the rain coming down now, even though there's blue sky in the background. It's kind of bizarre, really. But it's hot out there, but it's not as humid as it was yesterday, so you wouldn't really say it's thunderstorm weather.
I was looking at the weather before I left on Thursday, and it was saying that it was going to be between 30 and 35 degrees over the course of the weekend, you know, Thursday through to Monday before we leave. And I looked again on Friday when I got here, and after people were talking about rain on Sunday, and it said, yeah, it's still going to be 25, 30 degrees and rain. So it's obviously got muggy. Yeah. Even though the sun's disappeared behind the clouds. I just wonder how long it's going to be coming in for, because if it's still coming in from over the castle at Lockett, be interested to see if it's in for the day, and that will certainly change the aspect in MX2 a little later on, where we're expecting Jeffrey Hurlings to be crowned MX2 world champion, providing he stays ahead of his teammate. Yeah. Well, he can finish behind him as well, actually. That's the other thing.
He just has to finish.
Yeah.
The irony being, if he was an MX1, he would have done that anyway. Taking a point.
Tony Cairoli, we've got 13 laps just gone, look, and Cairoli now right on the back of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. So Cairoli in 5th, going after Van Hoorbeek, Strybos and De Dijker. Those guys at the bottom of the hill. It's going to be who was best prepared at the start of the race, Laminates, tear-offs or roll-offs. We saw De Dijker pulling at roll-offs, so he might have a little bit more mileage in those goggles if push comes to shove and getting behind somebody. Certainly back markers aren't going to help. But the riders do favour laminates a lot more nowadays, and you know, if you haven't got enough on board and you go through them, you're going to have to start throwing your goggles off. Or, as we saw last year with Tommy Searle on a number of occasions, coming in to pit lane and changing. Well, he doesn't want to come in anymore after the mistakes that were made earlier on in the race.
He especially doesn't want to do it now. You know, challenging Tanner Leok and Joel Rollins, he's caught up a lot of time. He's been turning in the good lap times at 150 on the last lap compared to 51, 52 of the others. So is he going to cut through him?
Oh, very lucky, but on the gas. And on the money, Adam Wheeler, he turned it tight, got on the gas hard. Leok wasn't expecting it at all, but Tommy Searle now finds himself into 9th. He's got Roulox there, just going out of shot ahead of him in 8th place. Maybe he senses a moment here, Tommy Searle, because Philipparts won't be too far up the track, will he? 5 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Searle's running the same kind of lap times as Clement de Sau, you know. We say it almost every time, Paul. Why can't we see this, you know, in the battle for 2nd or 3rd or 1st position? Look at the rain coming down now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be careful here. I mean, a couple of those areas are a little bit more slick. You know, you just like go in there a little bit too hard or harder than that you were doing before, and it's, you know, one knee down, like Noel Pocock, you know, in the first MX2 moto, just popped his knee. Is he going to get the traction up the hill, Cairoli? And of course, Cairoli has
keeping his head down as well. Obviously, no roll-offs on there. Can't get too close unless he's got about another 20 laminates on there, but I think that's about how many they put on anyway, so he would have put a few of those during the course of the race. 14 laps complete, and the battle at the moment we're interested in is this one for 4th place. Van Hoorbeek, number 89, and Cairoli there, number 222 in the fluorescent colours, as always.
What you don't really see on the TV boys, there's quite a lot of small stones as well, so the roost is going to be like, you know, little bullets really here.
Yeah, and also we could all, you know, we remember the Coppins moment, you know, the stone getting jammed in the back brake lever, couldn't use the back brake off that step down and over the bank, but, you know, not preempting anything, but when it rains like this, they're also one of the pitfalls. Seven minutes plus 2 to go. Race 1, MX1, round 14 of the FIA MX1 Motocross World Championship, Czech Republic at the circuit of Lockett. Commander Sal, 13.5 seconds clear of Ken De Dijker, with Strybos 3rd, Van Hoorbeek 4th, and Tony Cairoli just behind him in 5th place. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all in the same shot, pretty much, and same part of the racetrack. Tony Cairoli will be more than aware of that, of what's around him. But Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com, the rain that's just started to fall this last few laps really is a good leveller. In fact, we'll come back to that in a minute because we're going down to pit lane to speak to Roger Harvey.
Roger, we're missing Max this weekend. What's the verdict? So do we know what's wrong with him?
Yeah, basically we think he's got Epstein-Barr virus. So, like, we probably know it's glandular fever, something like that. Not fully diagnosed, but we'll have everything from the medics tomorrow morning. There's a meeting, and then the course of recovery. But like, the recovery actually for Epstein-Barr is rest, and that's not something in a motocrosser's vocabulary, you know. So hopefully, you know, he's not. I think we might have caught it in the early stages, so he can be back on a bike relatively quickly. We hope.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, during that interview there, just Kevin Strybos and Ken Dyker trading places, a little bit close for comfort. Joel Smets would have been looking on, holding his breath, I would think, as they duked it out a little bit there. But it's Suzuki 1-2 at the moment. The south from Strybos to Dyker now. Dropping down!
Lost the front end.
Goes down!
Just lost the front end.
Just pushing. And no electric start on that Kawasaki. Gets it up, fired up first. Goes down again. That's how slick the ground is. So suddenly Van Hoorbeek just trying to get going. Oh, was he
jamming the front brake there?
Yeah.
Maybe just broke the disc. No.
Just obviously going down on the front side there. Maybe just a bit of dirt wedging itself under the mechanism as he picked itself up. So it's all changed then. DeSalle Strybos first and second, 13.5 seconds apart, and then it's to Dyker third. Cairoli now in fourth place. And I wonder if Van Hoorbeek's still in fifth because he's got Bobashev just behind him, but not looking comfortable, looking down at that right side. So if Kenny Bobashev already without goggles, well, what a bonus for him. Hasn't got to sit behind Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and getting roosted in the remaining 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. David Philippart suddenly going around the outside of Van Hoorbeek.
Oh, Van Hoorbeek's race is pretty much done, isn't it?
He's just all over the place now, bless him. But
you're cool about the roll-offs, Paul. I mean, it's just here.
Wrong side of the road. Went down hard, and then both legs couldn't get away from the bike. Tony Cairoli just went, yeah, that'll do nicely, thank you. And then he just picked himself up, and I think, the front brake was probably just jammed on at that point. In fact, you can see it now.
Well, he crashed a second time. Rodents goes past, so like Van Hoorbeek just like falling down the order now. I think that's down to 10th.
Yeah, and you need momentum as well when conditions are like this, when it's hard and slick and wet, and you haven't got that momentum just to get yourself into the lines. You're going to be sliding around all over the place.
It's like it's sticking there. Look, it's sticking.
Yeah.
So maybe he has damaged the disc or something. You know, something's just forcing that from him. And DeSalle just like, well, just taking it easy really here. I mean, he had a 13-second lead.
Down again.
Yeah. Like the expression says it all, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a complete turnaround. We woke up with blue skies and sunshine.
Yeah,
now
with the front brake. Yeah. Nothing to do with the disc. I don't think the disc broke because he fell on the right side. But it is locking. Look.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the race is
painful.
Done.
Nothing he can do about it. Nothing he can do about it. That's why he's frustrated. Yeah.
Maybe that was even the cause of the crash. You know, he got out of the rut, like you said, but who knows? That was a possible, top 3 position. Has he finished top 3 this year yet?
Van Hoorbeek in a moto. I think he came close a couple times. France, Moto 1, Moto 2, Italy, Motos 1 in Latvia and Finland. But
so he would have had another 4. He would have equalled his best finish.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, bearing in mind, Tony Cairoli was, right on the back of him as well. So, in that respect, Tony Cairoli might have just pushed him back to 5th anyway. So, but they were saying that the rain is a good leveler in terms of, pulls people back, it slows the speed down. Then it comes down to ability and confidence in the wet, and having faith in the equipment that you've got. And certainly, Commander Sal, he's had the confidence right from the gate drop, and also, while it's continued to rain, okay, that gap's come down to 11.3 seconds to this guy here, Kevin Strybos. But I'll tell you what, for the first time this year, it's going to be a Suzuki 1-2, isn't it? In the race finish.
I think it's unusual not to see a KTM in one of those 2 positions. It's, I mean, DeSalle's had a strategy for this race, which has just gone perfectly. Let's get out in front as soon as possible. Then he's got a rhythm that we saw yesterday already that was effective enough to make the difference. And Strybos as well. I mean, he had passed Ken Dyker. How far back is he now? I mean, he's just drifted. He's coasted. It's 5 seconds.
5 seconds back, and Cairoli another 9 seconds behind him. But a minute and a half to go. Looking good for the Suzuki's up to Sal and Strybos. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek attempts to rejoin the race, but thinking the better of it, because that front brake obviously causing him 1 or 2 problems after the crash. You can only assume that the damage was picked up during the crash when he lost the front end in 4th position about 2 laps ago. And since then he's failed to complete a lap because the front brake just locking on. and making it very, very difficult for the Belgian to get around the circuit. There's Kenda Dijker taking a quick look over his shoulder. He's in third. He knows his teammate Tony Cairoli is about 8 or 9 seconds further back in fourth place.
I mean, I think it's a little bit too late for Van Horbik to get anything now. I mean, he's still in 18th position.
He'll still pick up 3 points for that.
But I mean, even if he can get going and do like another lap or two before the checkered flag, you know, it might just grab him a couple more points.
But I was talking to Valentina actually yesterday when she said, oh, if we have rain, the track's going to be dangerous, it's going to be slippery, it's going to be... I said, yeah, no different to what it was 2 or 3, 4 years ago when we had rain on Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we've never been here before and not had rain or wet conditions. You know, even when Oban won a moto, you know, back in the day in MX2, I think it rained that day as well.
Yeah, that's one of the few times Tony Cairoli was beaten that season, I think. But
Van Horbik, tough break for him. Doesn't want to get that front wheel off the ground anytime soon. Look,
I don't know. I mean, he seems to have maybe he's fixed whatever it was because it doesn't seem to be. Again, can he make it back up to the pit lane?
I think he'll make it into pit lane, and that'll be it. Just off to the right here.
Yeah, 3 laps to go.
Yeah,
real shame for him. And Cairoli goes past 4th place. He was down in 12th, I think.
Yeah, going straight back.
Lap.
You know, for. I mean, he could, like you say, he's dropped to 19th now, so there's obviously somebody out there who was circulating ahead of him, maybe Laurie Lettler.
Yeah, just, you know, 20 runners in MX1, Paul, it's just a strange situation, you know. A couple of injuries, we're missing like 5 or 6, that would have boosted it up. Maybe some wildcard entries as well that just, you know, haven't made it this weekend. There should have been like a 30-rider gate, you know.
Yeah, well, sun's coming out now, look. But, you know, when we talk about that, obviously there was a guy in European 250 class, Philip Neubauer, opted to ride European, and so did a bunch of them, maybe because, you know, slightly easier category or, I don't know, more fun, who knows. Well, difficult conditions in MX1 race 1. We had a nice dry and drying racetrack until the rains came from over there on the horizon, but the dark clouds have dispersed, dumped a load of rain on the circuit, so the organisers here don't have to feel the need to water the track before MX2 race 2 in about an hour's time. Tomato Salvo is the guy who has dominated this race. He's around about 11-12 seconds clear of his teammate Kevin Strybos. After his fellow Belgian Strybos found a way past Kenda Dijker, with that gap going out to 14.5 seconds now. Tommy Searle we're on board with, he's in 8th place, got Roulance just ahead of him. He'll be looking to pick off another couple of positions. Meanwhile, De Dijker still in 3rd, Cairoli in 4th. We're just waiting for him to come over the line now, anytime now, so hopefully. Still waiting to pick him up, been about 9 seconds or so, still that's the case. And then Bobashev on the Honda World Motocross machine, he's in 5th place. Tommy Searle had a eventful first moto so far. Took Sean Simpson wide on the 1st or 2nd lap in one of the corners down the bottom end of the circuit. The two tagged, and Simpson found his legs getting wrapped around the rear wheel of Tommy Searle. He had to stop, free the Scotsman, and Simpson is still out there in 11th place. So I thought these conditions would have suited him after the rain came. That would have pulled him back some serious time as well. He was just a couple of seconds down on Milko Potazek.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's a pretty good comeback by Sean. I mean, Tommy Searle's made it up to 8th place, and Sean's in 11th. And considering that, you know, like you say, he did have that leg swallowed by the rear wheel, it's been a pretty good ride, good comeback. And Cairoli, I think, is just easing off now. I mean, it's just trying to keep an eye on the distance in front. I think it's maybe 10 seconds to 3rd place. I mean, he's realistically not going to make any positions unless the Dijker makes a mistake. So, you know, energy for the second moto.
Franciszek Schmoller, been on the podium a couple of times in MX3 this year, local rider. He'll be pleased with his 16th place finish, but as you said a moment ago, Adam Wheeler, just 20 riders on the grid in MX1 this weekend, so 4 or 5 of the big hitters not here due to injury, and 4 of them coming last week.
Round 14 of 17 was a little bit of that late season, you know, apathy, riders struggling, maybe with injuries, maybe with finances, all sorts of things. It's not cheap to race anymore, so, you know, it's all, there's a combination of factors that create a bit of a whirlwind, you know, and when you get people hurt and you're sort of in the depths of Central Europe, then it just affects the numbers on the gate.
Well, De Salle already over the line to start his final lap. Here's Kenda Dijker. He's in 3rd and in cruise mode, it would seem. And he would have taken a look back to see his teammate 9 seconds further back. And I wonder if he'll find a way onto the podium, Tony Cairoli, in this moto. I'd be very surprised if that were the case, because Didika only 24 points down on Desau. Can't afford to give up points to him, especially when he's picking up race wins. And Desau, he won't mind about that if Didika's prepared to give up a couple of points to Tony Cairoli just to make his quest for a 7th title a little bit easier. Then, that only cements his position in 2nd place in the championship, which Didika still has a realistic opportunity to go out and get.
Yeah, I think, whether Tony wins the championship, I mean, let's talk about the inevitable, because he's got such a big lead, and it would take a big freak of nature. I mean, we've seen it at this track with Josh Coppins in 2007, but it would take something amazing for him not to win in 2013. If he takes it in Belgium, it's going to be a very atmospheric, busy event. He takes it in the MXGP Festival, Matterley Basin in the UK, second to last weekend of August,
25th.
Yeah, then it's that's going to be a pretty special atmosphere as well, and he loves that track. And of course, Lierop is the sand, and we all know that Cairoli is currently the best on a 350 or a 450 in the sand.
And he would like to arrive there as a 7-time world champion. But let's not take anything away from this guy, number 25, Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1. The Belgian Clément Desau takes victory here in Moto number 1. Another big win like it was last week. Needs to turn it into an overall victory this weekend. That'll keep him and the team happy as they head to the Belgian Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. But it's going to be a 1-2 as well. Desau from Strybos, who comes home in 2nd position, and he's going to be one of my guests on the MX Live TV show at 2:15 this afternoon. Ken Didika on the Red Bull KTM does cruise home. Looks like he's going to pick up 3rd place as he drops downhill, and Cairoli should be good enough for 4th place there, just popping up in the background. So 2 Rockstar Energy Suzukis, 2 Red Bull KTM, which are first 4 positions, and the Honda World Motocross rider Evgeny Bobashev should come home in 5th. Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com, just briefly, it's a bit of a pedestrian affair, that first MX1 race. Hopefully MX1 race 2 will be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah, it's just processional, isn't it? It's the cause of the layout. It's narrow, it's windy, and there you go, there's the whole shot. Recipient. You can ask him about that in the studio show.
Probably.
I mean, maybe the rain, if it rains again, then it's going to get a little bit rougher, a little bit more, difficult to predict. I mean, the track sort of varies in grip depending on where they're going, and it's just a replay of that start.
Two Suzukis down the inside.
Cairoli was actually right there, Paul. I mean, it turned in. You almost had it at 1st place there.
Look how close it was there, though. Cairoli almost there, but half a wheel, just to Kevin Strybos. So Desau, a race winner, though.
Ten skončil na místě 17. A je Matthias Walter,
getting ready to prep the circuit then for MX2 race 1. Of course, that's race 2. Sorry, that's going to be in about an hour's time. And Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you again soon, no doubt. But official confirmation then of Moto number 1. It was a win for Clément Desau. Strybos was 2nd, Ken Didika was 3rd, Cairoli was 4th, Bobashev 5th, David Philipparts was 6th, Roulance was 7th, Searle was 8th, Leok 9th, and Sean Simpson. Good recovery from him to get 10th on the JKS Gabon Yamaha. Milko Podosek was 11th, Matis Caro 12th, Matthias Walkner, good ride for him in 13th, ahead of Heron Bracker, August Just, František Šmola, Clement Gertje, Laurie Lettler, Van Horbik, and Pichinsky.
Tak, takže to by bylo to pořadí, já nevím, by to možná stálo za to teď zopakovat, Petře.
Ano, ty to určitě řekneš, že ne v němčině.
Takže
to znamená ještě jednou na prvním místě s velkým náskokem 17 vteřin, nezastavil ho ani ten špatný povrch, déšť. Poradil si s tím nejlépe Clément Desau, průběžně druhý závodník mistrovství světa.
In terms of the championship, Tony Cairoli sees his lead shrink by a few points as Clément Desau takes victory in that first moto, but still a long way off talking about world titles being decided in this MX1 category. Philipparts moves a position at the expense of Rui Gonçalves, not here this weekend. Sean Simpson loses one to Joel Roulance. Matis Caro, STR, KTM climbs ahead of his teammate Jonathan Barragan as well. Barragan a non-starter today, despite being here yesterday.
Philippers také od tohoto jezdce jsme v minulosti zaznamenali daleko lepší výsledky, ale také určitě s 6. místem je tento závodník z Itálie spokojen. 7. Joao Roulance, 8. Tommy Cyril, 9. Tanel Leok z Estonska, tento estonský rychlík. Taky si myslím, že 9. místo bere. 10. je Sean Simpson.
So Clement de Sal then wins moto number 1 ahead of Kevin Strybos. Ken de Dijker was 3rd, Tony Cairoli 4th. Kenny Bobashev was 5th, David Philippart 6th, Joel Roulance, Tommy Searle, Tanel Leok and Sean Simpson round out the top 10. Then it was Milko Podezek. And here's our race winner.
Clement, this has been a good track for you in the past. After that first race, do you feel like it's going to be a successful Grand Prix?
I hope so. You know, I will do everything to do it, and I will not make any pressure for the second moto. I will again do my best because you know, everything can change, and so I will try to stay focused and have again a really good result like that.
We'll see you in the second race.
Okay. So I would like to say hi to my girlfriend and all animals because we get 2 new goats, so it's cool.
In good form, Clement de Sal. Almost forgot the new babies. Anyway, he's a good, comfortable winner, more than 12-13 seconds clear of his teammate in moto number 1. He weathered the storm quite literally. He rode the hard, slick, dry circuit. When it changed to rain, he was a master there as well. And nothing really seemed to faze him, and he was pretty relaxed in that post-race interview. So hopefully more of the same from him, or that's what the team will be thinking as well. He's got a real good opportunity to win a Grand Prix this weekend. His first one of the season, his second race Grand Prix win of the season, of course, because he was the overall winner in Qatar, the opening round. Kevin Strybos, his teammate for Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1, came home in 2nd, so it was a Suzuki 1-2, a Belgian 1-2 as well. And Amy's down there getting ready to speak to Kevin Strybos.
Kevin, you've won here twice in the past also. Do you feel like that good start helped you along the way in this first race?
I hope so, you know. Took a good start, got the whole shot, but soon I dropped back to 2nd, and then Ken passed me. I could stay close to him, and I could pass him, you know, so I was happy with that, and happy with 2nd place. So I think the podium is still there, and also for the win. So gonna push hard the 2nd race and feel good on the track, feel good with my bike, so I'm happy with everything. So let's see what's gonna happen.
2nd place for you in that first race.
So yeah, Suzuki 1-2, Belgian 1-2 in what was a Belgian 1-2-3 finish, because it was Ken de Dijker, the Red Bull KTM rider, who finished in 3rd, but can't take anything away from this guy. He surrendered that 2nd place and went back after it in the closing stages when the weather conditions were getting a little bit too tricky. And he managed to nail down a solid 2nd position after his teammate as well. So the first time that's happened this year in 2013. But Ken de Dijker, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, was 3rd, edging out his teammate Antonio Cairoli. And we are getting ready to go down to speak to Ken de Dijker. He's down by the skybox waiting to speak to Amy. Probably just get himself cleaned up actually, but mixed race for Ken de Dijker. Here he is. He's getting ready to speak to Amy.
Ken, you just lost out on that 2nd position to Kevin. Pretty freaky weather conditions towards the end. Did that change things at all?
Yeah, it changed a little bit, but just the rain came underneath my lens of my goggle, and I couldn't see so properly. So yeah, I took it easy, and also didn't want to crash down. It's really sketchy out there, and also with the rain, it's hard. But I'm happy to be on the podium again on 3rd place. But 2nd motor, hopefully better, and see where it goes.
And we'll see what the weather decides to do for the 2nd race.
So Belgian 1-2-3, de Dijker picking up 3rd in moto number 1 behind the 2 Suzukis of Clement de Sal and Kevin Strybos. Hopefully there'll be no more rain and there'll be a little bit drier racetrack as we look forward to MX1 Race 2 a little later on.
A všechno to tady, kde je potřeba, rovnají, takže, jak říkám, pořadatelé z místního...
Here's what happened in MX1 Race 1. Suzuki's got a good start. Cairoli stalled at the end of the first lap and lost a bunch of positions, and then it was hard for him to play catch-up, but he did manage to get back to 4th. Meanwhile, though, Clément de Salle on the Rockstar Suzuki found himself leading the way from his teammate and fellow countrymen, Strijbos, Van Hoorbeek and De Dijker, but it was De Dijker who struck first, finding a way past Van Hoorbeek and then Strijbos. Tony Cairoli found himself in 6th and went after Evgeny Bobashev. That got him into 6th place. And then it started to rain. And then Strijbos sensed his opportunity and went after Ken De Dijker. It was a close run thing. Crashing out of 4th place was Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, as he lost the front end and then lost the front brake as well in that little crash. But with De Salle up front and Strijbos second, it was looking good for Suzuki, and it was De Salle who went on to win race 1. That's all we've got time for now. Join me in a moment for our MX Live TV show at 2:15, where my guests will be Kevin Strijbos, Jose Boutron and Jackie Martins. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a moment. Bye for now.